In 2004, kids were coming back to school, YouTubers were going crazy for horror games, and a certain game creator by the name Scott Cawthon was about to release one of the biggest influences in modern gaming history. On August 8th, the critically acclaimed Five Nights at Freddy's was released and forever shook the internet. Within this simple game, it had amazing gameplay, terrifying animatronics, and a cryptic lore that has kept theorists bewildered for over 10 years. With 14 games, 27 books, and a movie, with 2 more on the way according to many sources, such as Collider. However, there's still a lot of mystery that surrounds the franchise and its lore. And for simplicity, I will only be covering the first 3 games, which are Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and Five Nights at Freddy's 3. And I'll be covering them in their release order instead of chronologically. Without further ado, let's begin. The first game starts off with us in a security office at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This is basically like a knockoff Chuck E. Cheese, or more appropriately, a Showbiz Pizza. That used to be popular back in the 1980s, but it has sadly lost a lot of customers due to bad PR around the company as a whole. In your office, you have 2 doors, one to your left and one to your right, along with lights associated with them. Plus, you have access to a security monitor in order to watch the cameras. The night starts off with a phone call from a character that is simply titled The Phone Guy, due to the community not having the official name until recently with the release of the book the week before. He has left messages for the player in order to get comfortable with their nightly duties. We are introduced to Freddy Fazbear, the main character of the location, Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate Fox, who will roam at night due to technical glitches according to the Phone Guy. You have access to your doors in order to shut them out just in case they get too close. If they manage to get you, they will put you into a suit due to them believing that you are an endoskeleton, or at least according to the Phone Guy, that is their excuse. Along with balancing keeping them out, watching them on cameras, you also have to keep an eye on your power. Throughout the night, you will see certain things shift and move, specifically seeing the drawings from kids and the establishment rules be replaced with police reports and news about 5 missing children. This is simply known as the Missing Children's Incident, or the MCI for short. It is revealed the kids were never found, and they came to possess the animatronics themselves, hence their weird, aggressive nature at night. One thing you might notice is I said 5 kids, but only 4 animatronics. This is because one of the biggest mystery characters in FNAF history to this day is Golden Freddy, who does not seem to be bound by physical limitations, just appearing and disappearing in your office at a whim. Once you complete your night shift for the 5 nights, you get a minimum wage pay and the game ends. People were hooked onto the concept quickly, and soon, later that year, a sequel was released. The second game, simply titled Five Nights at Freddy's 2, is actually a sequel. It takes place in a newly opened Freddy Fazbear's, but with surprisingly more advanced animatronics, built in with security in order to detect criminals. Your office in this game, however, is less secure, having 2 vents to your left and right, no doors, and an open hallway right in front of you. Along with that, you are armed with a flashlight, security camera. Now newly, you have a music box and a Freddy mask. Phone Guy also apparently worked at this location. He also leaves you messages in order to get you familiar with the location and the gameplay loop. The loop within this game is you check the cameras, you have to keep a music box found for a animatronic known as the puppet. They are not able to be stopped by any other means in the game. While you wind the music box, you also have to keep an eye out for the other animatronics, flash them if they are in the hallways, and wear a mask once they enter the office. Repeat this for your 5 nights, and during these 5 nights you run into more and more animatronics. Due to the old location before this one, animatronics being used as spare parts. So in total, there are about 20 animatronics in the game. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, double that, Puppet, Golden Freddy, and Balloon Boy. One mechanic, however, that is brand new, is known as death minigames. If you die in the game, you have a chance of running into a 8-bit style Atari video game, which helps expand the story a lot more. Specifically, there is Take Cake to the Children, where you play as a bear animatronic in a much older location known as Fredbear's Family Diner. Once there, you, of course, serve cake to the children, but you notice that there's going to be one kid who is stuck outside. After a while, after you serve cake to the multiple patrons, a car pulls up outside, and then a purple man also comes out. The purple man kills the child, leaves, and then all of a sudden you get jump scared by the puppet. This leads to the theory that that kid now possesses the puppet, and it's the first victim. There's another minigame known as Give Gifts, Give Life, where you play as the puppet, and you give children presents that allow them to possess the animatronics, giving them life. Once you give the 4 presents, a 5th kid appears, and then Golden Freddy jump scares the screen, implying Golden Freddy is somehow special. Even to this day, we do not know exactly how he is special. There is Foxy Go Go Go, which has Foxy run from his stage all the way to the crowds of people. However, during the 3rd go-around, you see the Purple Man again, but he's smiling. You run into the next room, and there's the children, but they aren't alive. Then Foxy jump scares the screen. You see a pattern here. The final minigame is known as Save Them, where you play as Withered Freddy, being led by specifically the puppet around the location. You see multiple children and animatronics. This is known as the DCI, or Dead Deceased Children Incident. At the end of the minigame, you get charged by the purple guy. He's wearing an employee uniform, and the game ends with a text that simply just says, "You can't." At the end of the game, across the nights, you learn that there's a police investigation and the location is closed. And the old animatronics there are to be refurbished and put in a smaller location, aka Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The biggest points that we learn is about the puppet, who is able to help the children. And then we also learn about the purple guy, the man behind the slaughter. We do officially learn his name in other media in the future, but just to keep things simple, we'll just refer to him as the purple guy. Lastly is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This takes place 30 years after FNAF 1. You are not working at a pizzeria like the other games, but instead at a horror attraction based off of the pizzerias before. You are one of the employees, specifically being an actor as a night guard to help sell the effects of the location. On the phone, instead of our usual phone guy, we have Phone Dude, who seems to be the project planner of the location. There, he explains that they are still looking for new, old Fazbear relics in order to kind of sell the experience more. And during that night, you have no active threat. All it is to get used to the location, learn the equipment, and just pass right through. The equipment you have in this game is cameras, ventilations, audio lures, and most importantly, the maintenance panel. Once Night 2 rolls around, you get a phone call saying that they found, first of all, old training tapes, and second, they found a real animatronic. This is your active threat throughout the game. This animatronic appears to be once a yellow rabbit of sorts, but now time and degradation has turned into a pale green, one of its ears broken off, and an uncanny grin forever plastered on its face. Throughout the night, you listen to the training tapes which talk about something known as a spring-lock animatronic. These are animatronics that can be spring-locked back into a place where they can be worn as suits. These typically were yellow. However, they came with a safety issue known as a spring lock failure. If you were within one of the suits and the spring locks failed, boom, all the parts just snap right into you, leading to a very painful death. But there is a catch. These suits were very simple, and they could be lured around with audio. So throughout the night, you keep this rabbit animatronic away from your office by playing the lure, and also trying to make sure your equipment doesn't break down. Most importantly, ventilation. If your ventilation goes offline, you'll start hallucinating and seeing what is known as the phantom animatronics. These ghostly apparitions just appear out of nowhere and jump scare the player, but they don't kill them. Instead, they break your equipment, which requires you to sacrifice precious time in order to restore them. Go through all 5 nights, and you are greeted with a bad ending. The spirits are still bound to the location. Turns out there was minigames. Specifically, there were 2 parts, Secret and After Night minigames. We'll focus on the After Night first. Once you complete each night, you play through the 8-bit rendition of FNAF 1, but you play as an animatronic. The location is obviously much older. It hasn't been touched in years. It's withering and decayed. You play first as Freddy, then Bonnie, then Chica, then Foxy. You follow a shadowy or purple Freddy who leads you to a secret room that was never seen in FNAF 1. You try to enter, but you get an error on your screen. Once you try to leave, however, purple guy rushes out of the office or out of that secret room and dismantles you. This happens throughout all 5 nights until the 5th night where you play as a ghost. You are able to enter the office, and once that happens, you see purple guy just cowering in fear. You pursue him, but he keeps on fleeing until he has an amazing idea. He rushes and dons the yellow rabbit suit that was still in the room, believing that it'll trick them. He laughs until the spring locks snap on him, turning him into the spring trap in which we see in the game. This happens every night. You learn this throughout the game. However, through the help of the community and YouTubers such as Matthew Patrick from Game Theory, we were able to learn about secret minigames, which required you to input codes or find certain details, which allowed you to play these minigames where you can give the spirits a cake, allowing them to move on, which led to the final minigame known as the Happiest Day, where the puppet, along with the 5 others, are able to finally move on. And the location burns, but Springtrap survives, because he always comes back. To recap, we first have Fredbear's Family Diner, where the puppet comes from. It sadly closes, and then a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opens, where the MCI happens. That closes down, then FNAF 2 opens up, but the DCI happens. That 2 gets shut down, and the withered animatronics from that location are now used within FNAF 1. FNAF 1 happens, and then the FNAF 3 minigames happen, leading to the purple guy being spring trapped. 30 years pass, then FNAF 3 happens. Even back with these 3 simple games, the community was just hooked onto the concept. And FNAF helped grow an entire new genre of horror known as mascot horror. The popular examples of this is Bendy and the Ink Machine by Joey Drew Studios, and Poppy Playtime by Mob Games. Even 10 years later, the mystery of FNAF is still huge, is still fresh. And do you think you can help the community solve this mystery? Thank you for listening.